heart is supplied mainly by two coronary arteries. Coronary means they are like round above the ventricles and below the auricles. That is in between the atrium and the ventricle. That is atrioventricular groove. That is right coronary artery in the right AV groove and left coronary artery on the left AV sulcus of the groove. You can see here the origin of coronary arteries. You can see the right coronary artery. Here is the right coronary artery which is arising from the right coronary sinus. The other word for right coronary sinus is the aorta has got aortic sinuses. There are 3 aortic sinuses, 2 are coronary sinuses and 1 is non-coronary sinus. Don't get confused. The right coronary artery arises from right coronary sinus or right anterior aortic sinus. Okay. And the left coronary artery arises from the left coronary sinus. Okay. Or remove the atria. Okay, they have removed the atria and you can see the course of the right coronary artery here. This is the right coronary artery and the small part here is the left coronary artery, okay, which is encircling the 2 ventricles. So where you can find the left and right coronary arteries? This is the anterior view and here is the right coronary artery and the left coronary artery. Okay. So there are 2 arteries, coronary arteries, right and left in the right and left AV grooves. Okay. So now coming to the branches of coronary arteries. So take up one by one. Left coronary artery. So what is the origin? Left coronary artery arises from the left coronary sinus. It runs in the left AV groove and it is posterior to the pulmonary trunk. It arises posterior to the pulmonary trunk. Then after a short course, you can see it divides into left anterior descending, which runs in the anterior interventricular sulcus, and one more is it actually continues as the circumflex branch to the posterior side, that is along with the left atrioventricular sulcus. So what are the branches? Most important branches, there are 2 main branches of left coronary artery. One is the circumflex branch and another one is left anterior descending. There are 2 important branches of left coronary arteries. Again, these 2 branches give out the branches which supply ventricles and the atria. So the branches which supply the ventricles are called ventricular rami and the branches which supply the atria are called atrial rami. So from the circumflex branch, there are mainly 2 important branches. One is, as it is running posteriorly, it supplies the left ventricle, that is through ventricular branches, and also the left atria fully through atrial branches. Sometimes, very rarely, in 40% of the cases, it also gives a branch which supplies the SA node. From anterior interventricular artery, there are again ventricular branches and there are no atrial branches because it runs in the anterior interventricular sulcus. It lies between the 2 ventricles. So it has to supply the right ventricle. The right ventricle.
So one is the conus branch which supplies the infundibulum of the right ventricle. Infundibulum of the right ventricle. Then there is a large ventricular branch. The radiologist call them as diagonal and obtuse marginal branches. Okay, they are the again ventricular rami. Then comes the posterior interventricular branch. In case of, again I'll come to the coronary dominance later, but now what you have to understand is from the anterior interventricular sulcus it goes to posterior interventricular sulcus. The branch that is the posterior interventricular branch, if it is the branch of or it is a continuation of left anterior descending, it is called left coronary dominance. Okay. So here are the branches. Left coronary artery, the main trunk you can see, which is posterior to the pulmonary trunk. Posterior to the pulmonary trunk. Then comes the left circumflex artery. Actually, it is circumflex artery, not there is no right circumflex artery. So another branch is left anterior descending artery, which is descending in the anterior interventricular sulcus. Okay, and it is also going to the apex of the ventricle, which it turns backwards and goes to posterior surface to continue as posterior interventricular branch. So these are the diagonal branches, or they are the larger ventricular rami. So there are perforating branches also from the left anterior descending artery, which supply the antero-inferior part of the interventricular septum. Okay, they are the perforating branches. So this is the posterior view to show the branches of left coronary artery. So what do you see in the posterior atrioventricular sulcus now in terms of left coronary artery? That is the circumflex branch, which is running on the posterior side. Again, this is the circumflex branch, and it gives many ventricular rami. You can see there are many ventricular rami which supply the left ventricle, and also few atrial rami which supply the left atrium. Sometimes this circumflex branch, again, it continues in the posterior side as interventricular branch. So coming to the posterior coronary artery, so the branches, most important branches, it runs in the anterior atrioventricular sulcus. So it runs between the atrium and the ventricle. So it has got some of the atrial rami which supply the atrium, and the ventricular rami which supply the ventricles. So important branches are conus artery. Again, this is the right conus artery, which supplies again the infundibulum of the right ventricle. Then SA nodal artery is very important to know here. Most of the time, that is 60% of the time, it is a branch from the right coronary artery. Usually it will be right coronary dominance. Okay, then again one more branch, the right marginal artery, which is again a larger ventricular rami which supplies most of the right ventricle. Then AV nodal artery, that comes posteriorly. Will go when I am showing the diagram, I'll show you the AV nodal artery. Then posterior interventricular branch. Okay, posterior interventricular branch. When it turns posteriorly, it goes to posterior atrioventricular sulcus, where it turns to the posterior interventricular sulcus. So here is the right coronary artery, the main branch. So the branches, right marginal artery, important branches are right marginal artery, you can see there. Then on the posterior side, you can see the continuation of the right coronary artery in the right posterior atrioventricular sulcus, that is between the right ventricle and the right atrium. And you can see there the right coronary artery is continuing as the posterior interventricular branch, which denotes the right coronary dominance. So we missed out few of the branches from the right coronary artery in that view. So there is another view, comfortable view, that is the right anterior oblique view. Right anterior oblique view. I think you have already seen that in the angiogram. They had taken right anterior oblique view. So the branches are the right coronary artery, the main artery, the thicker one, you can see the right coronary artery, and the one which is going above between the pulmonary trunk and the auricle. Right auricle is the SA nodal artery, that is 60% of the times. So next is conus artery, conus branch, that is supplying the pulmonary trunk, and then comes the marginal branch, which is the biggest branch, the ventricular rami. Then comes the AV nodal branch, you can see in the posterior part. So when it is present in the posterior atrioventricular sulcus, there is a sudden kink from which there is a branching which supplies the AV node. So there are posterior interventricular branch. So as you have seen in the previous diagram, posterior interventricular branch, which is the continuation of right coronary artery. And one more is perforating branches from the posterior interventricular artery, which supplies the posterior superior part of the interventricular septum. So coming to the territories, so these are the arteries and the branches which supply the ventricles and the auricles. Now what are the territories of the heart which are supplied by right and left coronary arteries? So the right coronary artery in general, it supplies all of the right ventricle. It supplies all of the right ventricle through ventricular rami. A variable part of diaphragmatic aspect of left ventricle when it is in the posterior interventricular sulcus. Okay. Then the posterior inferior 1/3 of the intraventricular septum. You have already seen that is through the perforating branches. Then the right atrium, whole of the right atrium it supplies, and part of the left atrium also. And the conducting system, when it is right coronary dominance, it supplies both the SA node and AV node. Coming to the territories of left coronary artery, here most of the left ventricle is supplied by the left, then a narrow strip of right ventricle which is by the side of anterior interventricular sulcus. Okay, that strip is supplied by the left coronary artery. Then the anterior two-thirds of interventricular septum, that is antero-inferior part of interventricular septum. Then most of the left atrium. So this is the territory of left coronary artery. So what happens if there is a block in any of the branch or the major left and right coronary arteries? It causes ischemia in some part of the heart. So what are the important branches and what are the areas or the territories which are going to get affected by the block? So here the proximal LAD is left anterior descending. So what happens if there is a block in left anterior descending which is supplying both the ventricles? Okay, so it causes large anterior wall infarct. That is anterior wall, it includes both the ventricles. Okay, so more distal LAD causes anteroapical inferior wall, or that is the most distal part of the LAD. If it gets affected, it causes the infarct in inferior wall. Okay, so again the circumflex branch of the left coronary artery, again most common. So if it gets blocked, it causes the infarct in the posterolateral part, that is the left atrium and the posterior part of the left ventricle. Okay. Then right coronary artery, if it gets blocked, it causes infarct in the ischemia in the right ventricle. It is usually inferior. Okay. So these are the territories of the coronary arteries which are going to get affected with the block in the respective branches.
In the first diagram you can see this is the normal right coronary artery dominance, where the posterior interventricular branch, here the posterior interventricular branch is coming from the right coronary artery. Okay. So here this is left coronary dominance, where this is the posterior interventricular branch which is coming from the circumflex branch, which is again the continuation of the circumflex branch of left coronary artery. So what about the anastomosis between the right and left coronary arteries? There are anastomosis between the right and left coronary arteries, but they are not functional. Functionally, they are very insignificant because they are not at the capillary level, they are at the arteriolar level. Okay. So the most important thing is the time factor, that is, if there is a block, sudden block in the coronary artery, there is no time to no time for the arterioles to open up or to make the anastomosis. So most of the time it is the sudden blockage. So the anastomosis is not that significant in case of coronary arteries. So this is a slide about the myocardial microcirculation. That is, the main important pathway is the coronary arteries, which again redivide into arterioles, capillaries. Then they supply the wall of the heart. Then there are some veins, which drain into coronary sinus. Again, the coronary sinus drains into the right atrium. There are other ways also. So the arterioles opens into sinusoids, that is arterio-sinusoidal vessels, which directly open into all the heart chambers, or else these arterioles open into lumens of other vessels, so which again drain into the chambers of the heart. So you have seen the normal coronary arteries, the branches, the normal circulation. Now we will block the arteries. So the narrowing of coronary arteries. Most cases of coronary artery blockage are caused by an acute thrombi. Acute thrombi, that is the obstruction of the coronary artery by a thrombi or platelet aggregation, on top of a chronic atherosclerotic narrowing of the lumen. I think Madam has already told you about the atherosclerosis of the coronary blood vessels. So here is the diagram. So this is the normal blood flow of the coronary artery. When the coronary artery lumen gets narrowed, there will be obstruction to the flow of blood in the coronary circulation. Okay. So this is due to atherosclerotic narrowing of the coronary arteries. The atheroma or the plaque, you can see it is in the tunica intima. You already know the section of the arteries, that is tunica intima, media and adventitia. There will be accumulation of the plaque in the intima, so that there will be narrowing of the lumen. The lumen is narrowed here. So here is a diagram which shows the development of the limb bud along with the cardiac area. So this limb bud, you can see it is in the cervicothoracic region, or again the cardia area is also in the cervicothoracic region during development, so that they share a common dermatome. This is the dermatomal distribution, which is common to both cardia and the limbs. So basis of radiation of anginal pain. The pain is not felt in the heart. The visceral pain is not felt in the heart, but it is referred to the skin area supplied by the corresponding spinal nerves. Okay. So the upper four intercostal nerves and the intercostobrachial nerves, they carry the sensation from the chest and the medial side of the arm, that is intercostobrachial nerve and the upper four thoracic nerves. And if it is in the lower part of the myocardium, if the myocardium is affected in the lower part, the pain is radiated to the epigastric region. Epigastric region, which is again the sensation is carried by the 7th, 8th and 9th thoracic nerves. So you will get pain in the epigastric region. So this is about referred pain. So to summarize this session, this lecture, what you have to know is what are coronary arteries. They are the vessels which supply the heart. You should know the course, relations and branches of these coronary arteries. Then what happens if there is narrowing of the coronary artery, what is the pathology. Then to locate the site of block through angiogram. So these are the important topics which you should be thorough with. So by this I will end my lecture. So